Alright, welcome back to what is starting to feel like the Saskia channel. If you've been watching for a while, you know that I've been trying to make this 4-color commander work. I've been trying to use her abilities. I went from tokens to shadow and big creatures, combat tricks, Aurelia, the war leader, double combat effects, and it didn't work, so I went back to tokens. Because tokens worked, it's just not the way I wanted to play. The way tokens work is I put up Perforos or War Leader's Call, something like that, and I start generating tokens and doing damage to everybody. Terror of the Peaks, enters, any creature comes into play, I get to deal damage. Where the hell is, I had Zopandrel in there, and I played a live game with this deck, and it worked really well. Until the second, so I played 3 matches. And the second game, I didn't get any real token generators. I got things like Zopandrel. I got the remnants of the big creature attack and do a lot of damage strategy. And it didn't work. So obviously tokens work. Something I had done before the matches is I had taken out Calculating Lich, 6/4/5/5 Menacing Zombie Wizard, whenever creature attacks one of your opponents, whenever any creature. So it encourages your opponents to attack each other. I'd replaced it with Ink Shield, and after using Kit Kanto to goad some of my opponent's creatures, I realized that Calculating Lich is actually pretty damn good in the deck. So also something I didn't read is, okay, I knew she goaded a creature. I knew she did that. I didn't really read the card. The art is so entrancing that, okay, it comes when you get a token, you can tap 2 tokens, and you goad a creature, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm reading the blah, 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 and that creature gets +2/+2 and trample. Oh, oh, I forgot about that. And, made the creature the first creature I goaded. So okay, and cube. Okay, how big is it? Because I wanted cube to kill the creature, and it attacked, and it was a 6/6 trampler, and he only had a 4/4 blocker. I thought, okay, if I goad it, he can kill it. And then, oh no, she gives it +2/+2. Oh, oof. But she's fun, and she works. So Perforos got to the Forge. If he's in play, War Leader's Call, Impact Tremors. I've got 4 of these kind of effects in the deck. Any creatures come into play, and I start hitting my opponents directly, or with Terror of the Peaks, go, I start hitting their creatures. So that's the way the deck works. That's the way it wants to works. I still want to leave Jetmir in here, because if I build up a good token army, he's good for attacking. And he's just so cool looking too. Plus, as an aside, I kind of want to take out Fountain Port. Fountain Port, on the surface of it, it's pretty good in this deck. Let me just shuffle to it so I can remind everybody what it does. So it's a land that produces colorless mana. And you can, I think it's spend 2, tap it, sacrifice a token, draw a card. What the hell is it? I passed it again. I know it's in here. I haven't taken it out yet. So I could just read it off the screen right behind me, but don't really want to do. Where the fuck is it? It's not there. Fountain Port. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Tap, add colorless. 2 tap, sack a token, draw a card. 3 tap, pay 1 life, create a fish. 4 tap, create a treasure token. So it's a decent mana sink, but the deck is kind of color hungry. So in one game, I still won the game, but what I had in my hand was Impact Tremors and Mogg Infestation. And what I wanted to do was play Impact Tremors and Mogg Infestation at the same time. So the impact tremors would not get destroyed. So if I played impact tremors, there's one turn for it to get destroyed before I can do mock infestation on myself. And I had 4 creatures. Cube was at 6 life or so. And I was going to infest myself, double my creatures, impact tremors would do 8 damage, and he would die. What actually happened is I just attacked him with 3 Bitter Blossom Fairies and Terror of the Peaks, and that did the job. But I'm thinking of taking this out in favor of Jetmir's Gardens. Right now I only have 1 Triome. I have Savai Triome. Savai Triome, of course, the red, getting the extra red seems to be kind of the problem, to have enough red, which is fair in a way, because green is not a problem. If I get Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, I've got all the green I need. If I get Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, I've got all the black I need. But red seems to be a bit of a problem. So I don't want too many lands coming to play tapped. There are 4 Triomes. I know the Streets of Copacabana are not Triomes, but they are. They're just not called that, which is a bit frustrating. So I wanted red-white. So I've got red, white, black, and with Jetmir's Garden, when that comes in, I just ordered from my LGS because they had it for the same price as I could order it with shipping from MKM. And so Jetmir's Gardens gives me red, white, green. So more searchable. That leaves only 3 lands that come into play tapped. Path of Ancestry, 2 Triomes. Because I was listening to somebody, and they were talking about why you shouldn't be afraid to play lands that come into play tapped in Commander. And I think he said, but you shouldn't have more than 10. 10 comes into play tapped lands? Are you out of your fucking mind? On the first few turns, it's not that bad. If turn 1 you play a Triumph, okay, who cares? In a multiplayer game. On turn 6, you play a land that comes into play tapped, and you need to cast something to save your ass, or you want to cast a... It's a little more frustrating, so I don't want too many comes into play tapped lands. I do that with all my decks. But anyway, during the game, something I realized is that the big creature strategy of multiple attacks, since I pulled that out, I should pull out all the remnants of it. I shouldn't bother doing that. It's just not working. Also, I realized she needs more card draw. So the way I'm going to fix that is I'm going to give her a Skull Clamp, because I need more ways to draw cards, and that also argues for me leaving in Fountain Port. The way the deck is, the way I've got it designed, it's pretty tight. I've got a lot of token generators. I've got not a whole lot of recursion. So I don't have room for a lot of card draw, and I want it. The other thing is I've got this Teferi's Protection I could put in, but I don't quite know what to take out for it. In fact, I was struggling with it. She already has Clever Concealment, and Clever Concealment protects all my non-land permanents. Teferi's Protection protects me and all my permanents. So Clever Concealment, I can convoke it. Teferi's Protection, so it'd be nice to have both. The only thing I can think of is take out. I've got Beast Within, Generous Gift, and Stroke of Midnight. All of them cost 3. All of them destroy target permanent, except Stroke of Midnight destroys target non-land permanent. And that's about the extent of my interaction, my responses. I have Artifact Mutation. I also have Aura Shards, but Aura Shards, it can be reactive if I have an instant creature generator, and I've got a few ways to generate a creature instantly, but not that many. So Ink Shield, that second game, Ink Shield would have been great, but I was getting some of the big stuff. And what I'm concluding is the deck really doesn't need Zopandrel. What I needed... Oh, I should have pulled her out. I should have pulled her out of my art binder. The deck needs Champion of Lamhold, because she will get the creatures through. Zopandrel doubles them, and since I'm not too worried about that, I want to get creatures through. I'm not so worried about doubling their power and toughness because of the way Saskia works. Whenever my creatures hit somebody, they also do that much damage to whoever I named. I'm going to take out Zopandrel, put in Calculating Lich, put him back, because he's pretty good. He's right with what the deck wants to do. I'm also going to take out Urabrask the Hidden. I realize that having the haste doesn't matter so much. I will still leave in Sarkhan Vol, because Sarkhan Vol also allows me to snatch somebody's creature and abuse it for a turn, and his ultimate is token generation, so he fits the theme of the deck. And of course his +1 is all creatures that I control get +1/+1 haste. So I'm going to take him out of the sleeve. He's going to go in the art binder for the time being. Put Skull Clamp in there, because I do need the card draw. Jesus Christ, do I need the card draw? I realize that. I thought about taking my Sylvan Library out of another deck, but I didn't really want to switch it around. Didn't really want to move it. I have a Sensu's Divining Top, but all Top does is rearrange the top 3 cards in my library, and then I can switch the top card with... So it is kind of... It's card draw with extra steps. I don't necessarily want card draw with extra steps. So those are a couple changes I'm making, and that leaves me still with... I need to find a slot for that Champion of Lamhold, because the deck is supposed to play an effect like this. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under my control, my opponents cry. That's the idea. The backup plan is Saskia and attacking. That's the backup plan. It looks like the primary plan when I announced the commander, but I decided I'd rather go more kind of controlling. It feels like a control deck without the blue. It's weird. And in some ways it's like Hirobi. The first iteration of Hirobi I had, I ran him out as quickly as possible and started killing creatures. And then as the group evolved, what happened is they random targeting effects. I mean, just random targeting effects started popping up, so I'd play Hirobi and he'd get killed, or they'd target my other creatures and they'd get killed, and Hirobi stopped working, so I took him apart. And then I rebuilt him as a big black deck, just big black creatures. And he's like, Crick, son of Yawgmoth. That guy is fucking funny. Oh, I played Hirobi on Thursday, and I got Crick down on turn 3, because I had played a Jet Medallion, reducing his colorless by 1, so I paid 3 mana and 6 life to get him down, and he just started to batter into cube. We were playing a 1v1 game, because usually had to go study. So that leaves me with, I need to take something out to make room for that Champion of Lamhold. And the question is what? So, and then also there's the potential for Teferi's Protection. And don't worry about Urabrask. Urabrask, he will find a home somewhere. Oh yes, he will not be in my binder very long. Nor will Zopandrel. In fact, I'm thinking about putting Zopandrel in Ikrid Shidiki Sidarkando, because he fits the bill. His toughness is higher than his power. He's got a cool ability. I would have less creatures to sacrifice for this. That's the reason he was in the token deck. But still, being in combat, if I double the power and toughness of my creatures, and my creatures are dealing damage according to their toughness, and I've got a bunch of 4 toughness, 5, 6 toughness it becomes pretty brutal pretty fast. So all that's there. So let's see. I need the lantern. I've got 3 removal effects. Don't want to keep all 3. For right now, yes. Toski, when he works really well. And if I'm going wide tokens, Deranged Hermit. One of the reasons I'm keeping him is so I've got a way of generating squirrels, so I can use Chatterfang more quickly. Plus, I just like him. And if I've got an Ordered Procession or Doubling Season, I get 8 squirrels. So, World Leader's Call, that's what the deck is going to do. Makes my creatures bigger. Whenever a creature comes playing my control, my opponents cry. Tempted Bunnies, I just like it. And it draws a few cards. Path of Ancestry. I don't want to take out lands. I've got 38 lands, and I realize that's the right number because I've got 2 lands that do nothing unless a precondition is met. Guy's Cradle and Cabal Coffers. If I don't have enough swamps, Coffers is worthless. If I don't have any creatures, Cradle just sits there and looks cool. I want to double my stuff. This kind of doesn't belong because it's slow, but it comes down early. And coming down early can be key. In fact, it's been key on more than one occasion. Doubling effect. I'd like to put in that, I forget what the hell it's called. It's 2 colors, white. It's some Phyrexian horror that it's a creature, Dominus, bitch Dominus, whatever the fuck it's called. So it costs double white, 2 colorless, and it doubles my token generation. It's also 800 crowns, 30 euros. And I've got Anointed Procession already. It doesn't do anything else. That other creature, at least it can attack, it can block, but also dies to Wrath of God. Anointed Procession sticks around a bit longer because there's not quite as much enchantment removal. Excuse me. The token generating Elspeth I want to keep. Clever Concealment. I want at least one way of protecting my board, so that stays. She does what I want her to do, create tokens, and I can destroy, wipe the board, kill the big creatures. Dictate of Erebos. Yeah, in a token deck where I've got Sacrifice Outlets, yes. She was just fun. I really enjoyed playing with her, so I want to keep her. Burfos, as the deck wants to do. Soul Ring, yeah, colorless mana. Witherboom. I realize paying 10 life to untap all your lands is a small price to pay in Commander, so that stays land. Token generation, it's kind of the theme of the deck. Defense of the Heart. I still want to keep this in here because there's a lot of things I can find. For example, I can find Pitiless Plunder and Chatterfang and just go to town and wipe the board. I can find Elish Norn and Venger's Zendikar, and if I have War Leader's Call, then all those tokens come into play and they're big. So they're more of a threat. Also, if I have Terror of the Peaks in play already, or if I have Elish Norn in play and I go find Terror of the Peaks and Avengers Zendikar, all those plants come into play as 2/3s and do a lot of damage. So I want her. I should probably take him out, but I like him. And he gets back, helps get back my fetch lands. I've got a Conduit of Worlds to help get back lands, and I want it. It's nice to have the 2 ways to get, because I've got 6 fetch lands, so it helps me fix my colors, get my lands out faster. Swamp. She's just good. The game I played with Cube, where the token generation really worked, he was playing his token deck, tokens versus tokens. I had her in play on turn 2, And the only reason I won the game is because I got up to 60 life. And he played Champion Lampholt, made 10 squirrel tokens. So none of my creatures could block. And he attacked with everything. And he did something like 45 points of damage to me. It wasn't lethal. And next turn I had lethal. So she saved my ass on multiple occasions. This is just good. This can, of course, as I've said, if I have a good board presence and I have any of the impact tremor effects, I can infest myself, double my creatures, double the pain, or if somebody has a very threatening board, it gets around. So it can be a one-sided border wipe. So that stays. Nature's Lore. Finds lands. Ashen's Altar. Okay, so there's Phyrexian Altar and Ashen's Altar. The reason Phyrexian Altar is not in here is because it gives me 2 colorless. So it helps with those, like Tempt with Vengeance. So if I sack 4 tokens, I get 8 mana. So I can spend 1 red and get 8 Tempt with Vengeance tokens. Okay, yes, I hear you. Cheddarfang, Token Generator, Beast Within, Sterling Grove. I still have how many enchantments in the deck? 13. Including this one. So this protects my impact tremors, War Leader's Call, protects Perforos from, I've got more, 14 enchantments. Perforos' enchantment. Prevents him from getting exiled, which is good. Land. Instant creature generation with Convoke. Land, token generation, response, fog with spiders. This saved my ass too. So yeah, that stays. I'm probably going a lot faster. I'm not really thinking about this, just seeing if there's anything that jumps out at me is I can replace it with Champion of Lampholt. I don't expect anything to be Champion to be super superior to, but just okay, she's going to be better than that in the deck. Eternal Witness, no crop rotation, my Cradle Finder, you have my Hollow Finder, Urborg Finder. Come on, it's a fucking great card. Play additional land. He could kind of come out, but he helps fix my colors, and he's got Exploration stable to him, so I actually don't want to take him out. There's Shark and Vol. I could take out Avenger of Zendikar because of the memory issues. Because I don't have card tokens for the plants. So when I start putting plus and plus encounters on them, I would have a little circle of the tokens I use, the beads I use, the buttons, and I would have to have a die sitting next to them to show how many plus and plus encounters they have. Plus he makes 0/1 plants, so they don't trigger Terror of the Peaks unless I have War Leader's Call or Elish Norn in play. But he should make about 6 tokens, and if I have a doubling, that would be 12. So if I have an Impact Tremors effect, that'd be some good okay. Stomping Ground, Fellwar Stone. I just put this in there, so that's not coming out. He just went back in, so he's good. Ink Shield, prevent all combat damage we dealt to me for each 1 damage. So if I get attacked with like 2 10/10s, which has happened, that would be 20/1 flying tokens. And the damage is prevented to me, not to the creatures. So those 2 1s could block whatever's attacking me and kill them. Kill them dead. Tempt with Vengeance. This is funny. Land, 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 land. Sacrifice Outlet and kills things. God of the Worlds. Bit of recursion. Play lands from my graveyard. Yeah, that's good. Land, land. Some early token generation, destroys an artifact, land, Jetmir. He's just funny. I like that picture. And he backs up the secondary way to win by damage. So if I've got a bunch of tokens and it's auspicious to attack, he gives them all kinds of bonuses. If I've got 3, they get +1/+0 vigilance. If I got 6, they're vigilance, trample, +2/+0. If I've got 9 creatures, not just token, 9 creatures, non-token or not, all my creatures have +3/+0, double strike, trample, and vigilance. So he's good. He's good too. I just like my little bunny with literally chili pepper staff of destruction. Land. Smothering Tithe. This is... The opponent draws a card. Okay, so this gets me treasures. This helps my mana. This gets me land. That, I keep saying impact tremor effect, so it's kind of dumb to take out the impact tremors. She's good. I've got 10 tokens. I've got Goblin Bombardment. I sack 10 tokens. I've got 10 instances of each opponent loses 10 life. I gain 10 life, and I've got the damage from the bombardment. Or shards in a token deck. Yes. He almost doesn't belong, but he does generate tokens. He is really cool. I really like him. And he's a 6/6 death toucher, so he's a threat. And if I've got the doubling effect when he attacks, I get 4 zombie tokens. This actually works out pretty good. But I might replace it with the Triome. That would probably be the obvious thing. Because it comes to play tapped, I have to spend 1. The Triome, the Jetmir is a garden. It'll come into play tapped. I don't have to pay anything extra for it. And it produces all of my colors except for black. So maybe I'll take that out. Pernicious Deed, board wipe, land. Let's think about that. Arcane Signet, that's good. Hammerheim, remove all land walking ability. Doesn't come up that often, but when it does, it does. Helm of Possession. It has been good. It will be good. It is good. Pitiless Plunderer. Chatterfang's Little Friend. Tempted Discovery. Oh, I love this card. I think all of you know what I say about it every time, so I'm going to skip it this one time. And what about Martyr's Cause? Sacrifice creature, prevent all damage to creature or player from one source. I've never had it in play. There's been times where I would have liked to have it in play, but I would have also liked to just have more creatures in play. So I'm not really sure I need this. It is a sacrifice outlet. It will help trigger Dictate of Erebos. I'm going to take this out for Champion Lamphold. So if you've gotten to this in this part of the video, if you've seen the end, tell me if you think I'm an idiot for putting in Champion Lamphold instead of Martyr's Cause in a token deck. Because I like your advice. I like it when you lads, when we start the conversation. I'm waiting for some of you to watch the SIG video and tell me if there's anything better than Dimir Guildmage and SIG. Is there? None of you have said anything, so I guess you haven't watched my SIG video. Nobody likes SIG.